creating events, Caribbean events downtown Toronto. So, yeah.
Okay,
just
well,
seeing.
let's roll it back a little bit. How long have you're from here?
I've born and raised in Trinidad, went to Holy Name Convent. After I finished, I said,
Which one?
Convent.
Come on. Come on, girls.
Just rinse my ass on TikTok for that one. That's okay. Yeah, I've been in Toronto for the last 10 years. Only in the last 2 years, I am a full entrepreneur now in the Caribbean space.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And what drive that return back to the Caribbean space?
just seeing, I started in like the space of Caravana modeling, right? So I kind of got my foot in there. You know, when you first move away, you want to not jump into the Trini vibe. When people move away out of the Trini scene, some people either line with Trinis for their whole experience or they get the Canadian or the foreign experience.
Yeah.
I kind of went that foreign experience route for majority of my time.
Right.
Until, you know, I kind of met these guys and kind of formed my core group and just realized how popular.
How y'all linked up? Y'all knew each
Mutual
other here?
friends? No, I didn't know him from here.
Right.
I met him in Toronto through a mutual friend.
James. Yeah,
House
James.
parties, Caribbean house
Lyman.
parties, lime, boom. Before you know it, he was friends with somebody, and that's where Dirty Medics Toronto kind of was born.
So y'all are a part of that.
I'm the co-owner.
Dirty Medics.
Toronto.
Okay. Well, tell us a bit about...
All right, so obviously it had Dirty Medics here, it had the Juve and everything, right? So the co-owner of Dirty Medics Trinidad, he moved to Toronto and he was like, well, since I used to do events in London, Ontario, so that's southwest in Canada, right? So he was like, I need help. I need to know what exactly to do because there's a bylaw and there's a gatekeeper and everything in Canada. So he was like, Cordell, just show me exactly what to do. Help me build a committee and as well. So I helped him with that. I gave him everything. And then he was like, I think I needed to stay on to follow through because, yeah, I could teach you how to fish, but it's different waters.
The continuity.
Yeah, like, and even like building relationships and then dealing with, you're not dealing with a Trinidadian who have the venue. You're dealing with a Canadian who don't know
Laws,
you.
by the book.
Yeah, you have to do everything by the book.
Never had a Caribbean event in their space. Skeptical
Yes,
about
exactly.
that. How do we now, you know?
So then I have to put on the British accent and then talk to everybody. So like, I had to give them the presentation college accent.
Skip America, yeah.
I mean,
British accent.
I would know, but I don't think anybody would know your background. So you are originally from Trinidad too.
Yes. So
And you would
obvious-
have went out.
Yeah, so born in Toronto, 9 months, went straight back to Trinidad. So it was the secondary school, primary school, secondary school, Trillium, then went up for university.
Okay. So how you got into like events?
It started with, honestly,
The lime in your blood.
it was the lime. It was just the alignment. So like, even like, mommy used to do the first presentation on College Fete when he used to do by the pool.
Right.
And then when Johnny Sung used to do his fete in San Jose Village in the park, and then when she used to do it in our yard. So I just used to
So
be
mommy
paid.
pass this thing down.
Yeah. And then it was after seeing that, then it was when Maisel and them was doing their stuff because Maisel was like the older brother for me. So I used to watch everything. He was like, all right, Cordell, this was happening. I want you to... It started off with ticket count. And then it went from, all right, money. Then it went from dealing with this
So
graphic
just like
person.
always exposed
Yeah,
to it
so I
in
was
some
just-
kind of capacity.
Yeah. So it's just learning how to be in the space and have an understanding of how it's supposed to work. Not just being the consumer, it's just being the individual who could entertain everyone enjoying themselves.
Right.
So from doing that, then I started with Lance when he did Skyview. So Lance had the venue and then I was the person who was dealing with the committee and all those stuff. So I did that and then in 2 seconds I was in Canada and I'm in Weston, one of the 5 black people in that school who so happens to be a Caribbean person. So I was doing like Caribbean events, making people wear board shorts in March. And it's
So
like
technically,
my-
you ended up in you're crazy, like a niche market because
Yeah.
you are one of the, as you say, Caribbean persons, and then you could conquer it because I mean you are one of the few. So then you started to expose them to Caribbean events.
Yes.
So you bring the vibe. You end up being the vibe man.
Yeah, so I was doing Caribbean. Okay, so universities will have like a Caribbean society in it. I did it outside of them.
Oh.
So I just decided I'm doing Caribbean events, but I'm making Canadian people promote it.
Oh.
But they are going to bring people to the event, but I'm going to expose them to Caribbean culture.
So it was Caribbean culture or Trini culture? Like what
would
was the
say-
approach? What was the mindset?
I would say Caribbean because I wouldn't say I push soca right through in the events.
Right. So they're getting reggae, they're
They
getting
get in
dancehall.
reggae, dancehall, soca, like even like
Reggaeton,
even before,
everything.
reggaeton, even before like people was doing mashups. I had a friend who used to do chutney mashups. And then used to mix the music. So that's what we tried. And it was successful.
Right.
And then after that, I came back to UE and then I did like Mikasa in San Fernando. And that's when I did the White Oak Party in Maracas.
So jump low, you're minding your business. So you're sticking out your education, but the lime at the side.
The education, it was... Whenever it got there, got there. So
The education.
I always tell them, C's get degrees. You know? So it was just, I was maintaining, but that was the focus because I enjoyed doing it.
Right.
Right? So it was just making a business out of it, being in a state of making money out of it. But I just trying to keep the balance because you also have school, then the family business back home too. So it's just making sure you could put yourself in certain places at the
Okay.
same time.
I think it stems from like just being there and being like, God, I feeling for a zest.
Yeah.
Let me create this zest.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So I think, when
Because
we,
what is the vibe? I mean, prior to you
listen,
getting
Caribbean,
into
the vibe of,
the vibe of Canada, the lime culture.
well,
the
we are
vibe.
solely in Ontario, right?
Right.
Ontario has the most Caribbean people in all of Canada,
Right.
right? So it kind of makes sense in that, Toronto itself, a lot of second generation Caribbean people. Caribbean culture is insanely like popular there.
Prevalent, yeah.
It is like he said, how he had Canadians promoting it to bring everybody wants a piece of it.
Right,
it's
right.
such a freeing, authentic. I mean, we're Caribbean, I don't even need to explain.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Everybody wants to be part of that vibe. So, when Dirty Medics, you had asked as well, did you go Trini focused or was it Caribbean?
Yeah.
When we first started, it was we need to do Caribbean events. However, now years kind of rolling by, events have now established themselves where it's like, if you go to a Dirty Medics Toronto party, you're getting a kind of Trini vibes.
Right.
You're hearing Trinidad. You're not going to some other events in Toronto and hearing Trinidad.
Yeah.
So we are kind of known as it's a Caribbean party with a hint of Trinis.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
all the
yeah,
Trinis
yeah.
are coming to our party.
It's very rarely what the Trini vibe, you know what to gravitate
Yeah.
to.
And again, that doesn't necessarily mean soca because soca is playing in any Jamaican fets and everything. Soca is so popular in Toronto. It's so interesting to see. Everybody loves soca music.
Really?
Yeah. And it almost me, myself, had to adapt it in the sense that, God, maybe I need to listen more.
Like
We
you
get
don't
to-
really appreciate the vibe.
I didn't
But that's
grow
always
up-
always be, you always appreciate what's on the outside more.
Absolutely, but I didn't grow up as soca as a genre of music. I'm getting ready too. Soca music in Trinidad, you grow up, you listen to it.
Carnival time come.
Correct.
Yeah.
Up there,
Right.
flat
true.
out.
Right.
Flat out. So, we have to adapt to that as well. Adapt to the market, adapt to the demand. But something like Trinidad music, nobody's running that but us.
So somewhere along the line, you're linked up with Dirty Medic.
So
Right.
Nikolai, who's, can I call nails? Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're comfortable.
Yeah. We had met maybe like a few weeks prior, a month prior, so I'd known who he was. He sat us down basically and had a meeting. I remember that first meeting. It was you, me, maybe James or somebody. It was like 4 or 5 of us. He's like, I want to bring vibes here. And kind of how I got into this is I saw the Caribbean culture being very popular in Toronto. However, it was only like 2 events, once every month, out of the city.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it not in the city though?
Right.
Like, there is so much demand and the supply is so little. We need to give some sort of consistency.
Yeah.
So I started being like, we need to run nights. We need to run monthly events, but let's do it downtown. Because even people who live outside the city, downtown is a place to vibe. Downtown is a place to lime.
So it just makes sense.
It made
A while I
sense.
think it wasn't happening before.
Yeah, so
These will be grand events like fetes or just club house parties.
bigger events.
How specific
massive
in
events.
size? Okay.
Yeah, big
Every-
like 400,
every week.
500. No, this
She's
is like
saying we need to
prior.
do more.
Yeah,
No,
this
so
is prior.
prior to that, that's
Prior
what
to
was
that,
happening
that was
outside the
happening.
city.
I was
but
like,
that thing she was saying,
There's
make it
room
come on.
for 200-person events on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's not necessarily where the Dirty Medics, we started. We said we wanted to start something downtown. You know, he said, I remember the conversation. It was like 4 years ago. I want to make our name big. I want to throw fat. I was like, I'm down. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? And now we have a calendar of events. So I
Right.
kind of involved myself in that. I was kind of the head of the committee, you know, I mean, worked hand in hand with these guys doing that until I kind of started doing my own thing, but the brands collaborated.
Right.
So once you saw my Steph Rose brand, you saw Dirty Medics Toronto brand. So, you know, people at the top don't compete, they collaborate, right? So that's kind of what the model
Let me
that
hear
we
that.
took.
Repeat it again.
People at the top, they don't compete, they collaborate.
Okay,
competition,
Mark, and
it's-
so that's okay.
Community.
Right. So, I mean, y'all came back home for Carnival.
I haven't played personally in 5 years. So,
You've been home back and forth,
twice a year minimum.
but you didn't come back for Carnival in 5 years. How come?
How come? Well, COVID itself, 2 years I was out for the count. Couldn't come back, right? I was supposed to come home last year, but all my girls are getting married. So I'm like, bridesmaid every year, bridesmaid every year. You don't have to focus. I'm like, all right, you know, Carnival will always be there, your wedding, you know.
Priorities.
This year I said, nah, I ain't missing it. I got some opportunities to work with Spirit Mass and I came down and yeah, it's you know, you go different places to get creative juices and coming back home and being at the forefront of it while I'm doing Caribbean events there, it just is like, all right, yes, okay, you know.
So what do y'all think still missing from the Canadian scene? Like things that are
What is missing?
Carnival.
Okay, all right. Let's just call it out, right?
Let me take a sip of this.
Okay, all right.
both of y'all. I
Let's-
just want to say
I'll
both
do-
of y'all were
okay,
like,
so I'll just do the obvious, right? All four of us now could leave and we could go to a bar and drink, and we could have the drink and walk across the street,
right.
right? We can continuously drink, go somewhere else, and enjoy yourself.
And it's a cool scene.
As a cool scene. You cannot
2 a.m., party done.
cannot do that. You
Prompt.
can't have no open liquor in your vehicle. 2 a.m., no liquor supposed to be drinking. If you're in a public place that has a liquor license. The liquor license starts at 11 a.m. So if you're gonna have have no Juve is during the day.
It's a concept.
Yeah, it's a concept. So it's like you could start with the liquor, then you could start with
The liquor's a real big part, eh?
It is
Absolutely.
because that is the money maker.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
really
yeah.
think about it, your sponsors, what drives the energy in your party, the license, as I was saying. So it is the driving cause. I'm not trying to say, oh, we're supposed to neglect our culture and the energy, or we're good people, we don't need alcohol. Yes, we do.
No.
We need it.
Liquor
No, it's
drive
a
the
big
vibe.
part of it.
There's where your
Yeah,
cheers
big
in.
part,
There's where you
yeah.
live in
We're not
cheers.
alcoholics, guys. We're not. Okay? It's the vibe.
Add to the vibe.
When you hear
Yeah.
pop a bottle,
Correct.
water
Yes.
cracking.
Nah.
No.
Yeah, I never heard someone say I'm having a great time sober.
However,
And-
No,
song.
I have,
I mean,
to
it
be fair.
happens.
In a song?
But
Oh, you mean in a song? I thought you mean a person
No,
in
definitely not in a
general.
song.
Not in a
Yeah.
song.
I feel if I drink a water, nah.
I go drink water and
Mind
mind
my
my
business.
business. Mind my business.
But that means she not outside doing nothing.
yeah.
Correct. But yeah, but I mean, I understand. That's like a big
Legal
big
is a huge
difference.
part. Legal is a huge part. And then I think you could definitely agree with me when I say, you know, we started this downtown thing. We started doing consistent events. We started, you know, me personally, I started consulting for people who wanted to throw events. Now it's because now I said, okay, let's do it downtown. There's so much that you could do downtown in terms of the venues. So then things start to get repetitive. We have real Caribbean DJs. That's not a problem versus somewhere like Tampa and Miami. They're like kind of who we could Toronto, unlimited soca DJs, unlimited like dancehall DJs, like you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, when you start to work at certain venues and then it becomes a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, how are we going to expand?
Yeah.
The event does really well. We run it back 5 times. You know, most people then want to expand it bigger. Me personally, my goal was always to create homes for the Caribbean downtown. So, you know, I run a few events that are 200, 300 people once a month. And I'm okay with not making it a huge, massive fete. Because why? The demand is so high.
Right.
Just give the supply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It don't need to be a big, huge, all-inclusive
Don't
fete.
fix it. I mean,
Exactly.
It have the niche fit, because there will be people who are passing through and they get the experiences. Not to say that you're catering to the same people over and over and over, because I mean it's a big area.
Yeah.
Okay, so for persons who, okay, they've never been to Canada, give like five top spots or 5 top events that they should go to.
Dirty
Yeah,
Max
that's
Toronto.
yes, Dirty Mac. You remember
Soca
that thing on
Sunday.
Dave Chappelle? Dylan.
Yeah.
Dirty Medics,
Yeah.
Dirty Medics. That's okay, but we advertising
I don't
for
have
other
to see
people.
that, I
yeah.
know.
No, I mean,
That's-
like for real. If
Yeah, okay.
Because I mean, everybody, not everybody, but you know, people into the traveling and sometimes
sure.
they don't know where to go. They don't know
Absolutely.
where the vibe is. So let me say, if you're going there, like,
She will give the answer.
But you may have personally also attended events where you have been like,
this is the vibe. You must know where's the
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah. And again, our calendar of events, the Dirty Medics Toronto, those are all must, you know. I do an event called Soca Sunday. That's a must. Everybody has
So this
a
is
good time.
every Sunday? Or
This is
one
not every
Sunday?
Sunday. We have done it twice every month, and twice every 2 months. You know what I mean? Once a month, sorry. Yeah. But it's kind of been few and far in between in that sense. At least try to do it twice a quarter.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of people from away now doing events. So like Live and Love does his thing in Toronto. Kylie Events is a Trini guy who runs amazing fets there as well. He has like similar amount of events calendar-wise as Dirty Medics Toronto.
and they're friends of us too. So
Again, we all collaborate in.
Yeah.
yeah, some
the thing.
Jamaican friends there too.
Yeah.
So,
So Yardy Events is another one.
So now there are lots of options.
Yes, there's a lot of options. But then I think what's happening is the venue space has become so limited.
Right.
I don't know. It's not like Trinidad where it's like, okay, you know, okay, we go in Tipsy Ibis every day, so the like One Woodbrook. Like people are used to that. Whereas Toronto, there's so many options that, you know what I mean? That like
I
we
think
don't want to
the-
go revival again. We
Okay,
don't want to
so-
go.
So this is the thing. So like, don't matter the size of the event you want to have, you're restricted. So if you want to be the 200 to 300, there's like 2 or 3 places. But
All
also
right.
the thing is that for us, we are Dirty Max Toronto, so we are Toronto. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
stick to downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you can't just have a fete in somebody's backyard. So you have to be
No
in-
open field
it have no-
vibes.
and
like,
yeah.
So many limitations.
So many
Yeah.
limitations.
So you're
but,
limited in that kind of space.
You know, we've done our thing. We created a vibe.
So what's the vibe? Okay, that's the scene there. You're comfortable. I mean, as far as you have described,
Yes.
you're not really interested in the bigger in terms of outside of the 200, 300 events.
Because why? You have to take it outside the city.
Right.
And
okay.
my goal always was, let's do it downtown.
Right.
Tourists, anybody visiting Toronto, they ain't going out the city. You know, you're not going outside the city to Lime. You're going downtown Toronto.
But you think there's not a market outside of Toronto that people only come to Toronto for those events?
There is. Don't get me wrong, there is. But the thing is that you have to remember the name of the company. So if it's Dirty Medics Toronto.
So now
I
you
don't
only
want to
have
have it in
the
other
medics. You
cities.
need
No,
to
like
branch out.
saying
Okay,
just,
well, that's what I'm
you
saying.
just-
We'll reach to that point.
There definitely is.
You know how people say Dirty Medics Toronto comes to Ontario, like you know, you just make it seem like now it's like a whole. We bringing it to you guys
Yeah,
because
like
you always
almost
wanted
like
to
a- like a
experience
tour.
it.
Yeah, so the thing is that, yeah, we can tour the city, but we can also even
People
just
come
do
to us.
named
People
events.
come downtown.
People just come.
People
Okay.
come downtown. You know what I mean?
So you don't want to go to the people.
We can.
How she said, I'm like, we have to say yes, we can.
Yeah.
We can. It's just, okay, like, okay.
I mean,
For
it just
instance-
makes sense.
For instance, there's a particular brand that has a big Juve party
Right.
in Trinidad and Tobago, right? They have their party either in Port of Spain or San Fernando. It's not in Mayaro. It's not in Manzanilla. It's not in Cedros. It's not.
Wait,
and I'm not.
pull it
I'm
back.
not.
Let me pull this back. Let me analyze this thing.
All right.
And there's a certain brand
Yes.
was a Juve party.
Yeah.
Either in
Name drop.
San Fernando
or Port of
Port of
Spain.
Spain.
Right?
They're not going to go to Miami.
Meaning heart-wise, I put us because real people is taking to Shagaramas. You know what I mean?
No, but
Yeah.
the demands are
Yeah.
certain brands.
But that's Port of Spain still, so-
Yes,
So you're just saying the whole general
Yeah.
concept.
So,
Okay.
So in
what
other
I'm
words, you're
trying
not
to-
going to go to places where really and truly those people need to find where they need to come to you all, which is the same thing that you're saying, because you really and truly don't need to go and serve.
No, it's not. It's not serving them. It's just that you have to remember, like, everyone will come to the capital, right? Where do you
Because it's
play
a hub.
mass? You play mass in Port of Spain. You play mass in San Fernando. So that is exactly. I wouldn't say exactly. It's just that the comfort zone that we have. The committee is based like I say 95% of our
Toronto.
committee lives downtown Toronto.
So I think I should have like stopped when you said, bring the people to. We've now created space, like the demand is downtown Toronto. We don't. Our people would get vexed if we throw a party outside the city.
Wait, hold on. Because let me ask a question. There is a fraction of, I think a large portion of Trinidad and Tobago who will, the one dream of playing mass because it is Port of Spain. It's a stush vibe.
Yeah.
Or the one dream of doing certain things because it is limited. Same thing we're saying, it's limited to a certain space. So you feel so ostracized. You feel as though it's almost as though you're intruding or pretending to be something that you're not by trying to say, okay, let me explain it. I'm from San Fernando. There are certain people who play mass in San Fernando. Nobody who plays mass in Port of Spain will ever say, next year,
San Fernando
I
for
want
me.
to try San Fernando mass. It's not gonna
I
happen.
mean, that's an interesting concept to just even think about and compare and contrast, right? Like,
Yeah, because I genuinely feel like once you conquering something in this area, in this space, there's the attitude then like, I don't need to branch out or go in this direction. However, there is a neglected population or neglected group that they don't feel like coming downtown to Lime. Maybe they want to Lime home. Like, I feel as though, yes, there will always be the persons who will gravitate towards, but there are so many people who, they will Lime on home base. They will chill on home base. So imagine taking an event to them. I mean, let the people down the road relax.
Even something
You
as
can
simple
miss an
as
event.
having Carnival in Trinidad, and some Tobagonians will never come across.
down.
But
They will
now
never.
that Carnival in Tobago, the streets is laid out.
All of a sudden,
with
Tobagonians are no longer don't
outside.
get washed in the comments.
again, it's an interesting. Yeah.
But
you still have to look at it. Tobago is still a large market. So that's the thing. So yes, we would leave. We will go somewhere else. So like it could be Dirty Medics, Barbados. It could be Dirty Medics, Vancouver. It'll be things like that. So I'm from South. I will go and party in the West. I will also party in South. But it's not putting a knock on the other cities. It's just the simple thing of when you're flying, if you're flying to Canada,
You go in
where the
Toronto.
airport is.
Yeah.
That's the
No, I think we're only asking because you all say that the venue's limited, and the way to get that is to leave Toronto. So I'm thinking that.
Well, that's kind of
That's
what's
part
happening
of
right
the
now,
solution.
right?
the venues, but the patrons
yeah.
wouldn't go.
Okay.
So
That's the
it's our catch. But
And as well, like when people come to Canada for university, the main place they're going is Toronto as well. So, my goal also was to create a space for those people who feeling homesick.
I mean, it just makes sense.
It made sense.
Everybody just come in there. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
I was just saying.
Listen, I feel like it's different
Maybe you're
too.
missing
People are
out
real
on
willing to come downtown.
A little some on the outside. I was just
no, but
asking.
it's no. Trust me. There's always room and space to improve and try new things, and that's why we have the meetings and be like, all right, so what are we gonna do different now? So last year we did a rooftop party. We didn't have thoughts
That
of
before.
doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right. But I would never say never.
Yeah.
It was called a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We tried to spice it up a little bit, right? Not try to drown out the soca and the dancehall. We're like, let's test it. Let's see.
vibes.
Because what's popular now, right? Caribbean music is very popular, but Caribbean culture hasn't even hit its popularity yet globally. Like, we think it's popular. It has not even
No, you don't have to
hit
tell me.
where it needs to hit.
We're haunted in Madrid for a little soca.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Right?
Quicker
I
dancehall,
think-
quicker reggae.
Yeah,
but
reggae and dancehall.
soca,
Correct.
Unless
But
it's
everything
Ruby and Kevin Little.
Of course.
We're not hearing it.
Yeah.
But we so Marshall tried it with the Afrobeats artist and he's pushing it. We
Yeah,
see
the
that. So what we-
collaborations that he's making.
Correct.
Yeah,
blend.
so he did it with Pitbull a couple years ago. So we're just waiting for another pop artist now. As soon as we get that next pop artist with the Caribbean artist,
Yeah, that kind of breakthrough.
that's how it is.
Anyways, the vibe is nice. The vibe is nice.
I mean, I feel like we still have to do the work. Apart from artists, I feel like we, as a country in general,
Absolutely.
still have to do the work.
Absolutely.
Despite how much Masha was on stage with Nicki Minaj. Come on, look at Nicki Minaj following. And still, I don't feel like we still breaking that barrier. Now, after Carnival, we're seeing on the Hot 100, the only two songs is Young Brother and Good Spirits.
I think our issue
because of
is-
the
Like a
vibe
Young Brother
of,
one time.
Trinidad
of-
Killer and
yeah.
Trinidad Killer and Nicki Minaj's song is making its way up to.
It's
we
still there too.
It's popular
Even
in
there with the
Canada.
collaboration.
The Canadians loving it. That whole like, write my name in.
yeah.
I feel like same thing we're talking about until we reach that point where we can appreciate soca year round, we're not gonna
Will we?
listen.
Will we?
It's Trini saying, "Oh God, Ash Wednesday. Oh gosh, thank God that changed." Like it is a thing.
It's a
There are
thing.
some people who go into a little mini depression after the
Yeah,
carnival, like
yeah.
they miss it,
Yeah.
and then some people are genuinely relieved. They miss the zest, they
Yeah.
miss the dancehall, they miss it a lot. Yeah, so I feel as though until we get that appreciation, because we had a Dai Good Soca segment. So I was speaking to different soca artists, and they were talking about. Because I asked them, how come you all don't put on music throughout the year? How come you all, And they were saying, at the end of the day, when you think about how much time and effort goes into producing music and even a music video, it's just like, why would I put out a song that could potentially be super big when it busts in the
point.
carnival
Yeah,
season
yeah.
and I put it out in April to do nothing, to do no numbers.
But
I'm
look
not gonna
at
get
young
any
brother.
gigs.
Trinidad, dancehall. Soca season, he said, let me drop the greatest band
That's
ever.
why
Look at that. Number
they're
one
thinking
song.
wrong, because the fact that Carnival is St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados, like Carnival is
Carnival's
in different
everywhere
countries.
now.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere. Soca is going to be year round. When
I
you
feel
think
as
about
though-
it with that logic.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like I even see immediately now they're advertising the Ibiza Soca Festival, and that's huge.
Jamaica Carnival
in
is coming
Spain.
up in 2-2s.
Like so big. Cass going to perform and all that, but going with new music for Cass, you might think unnecessary. These people are not going to learn these songs just for Ibiza Soca Festival.
yeah.
They'll have to look through
But
his
do we
catalog.
think it when it starts out at Trinidad Carnival, then that's when it explodes? Like, you know what I mean?
Of
Like,
course, remember our carnival, quote unquote, is first.
Yeah.
Because of the time of the year, and then once it performs well here,
all those things then
yeah,
follow
it trickles.
suit. Yeah.
So on one hand, I could have empathized with the person because remember it's a chance, right? And I think they coming from the place where even as a soca artist, there's so much doubt in terms of which song will perform well. So you might be holding on to a tune and thinking, okay, next year for sure I will get the traction with in the carnival season. But you can't wait because it's a whole 365 days. So I think it's our DJs, it is the radio, it is
The promoters,
the artists themselves,
yeah.
the promoters. And then us as a people,
playing it.
you'll go a party
Yeah.
and then be like, all that soca. Like I've heard it multiple times. All that soca don't play, When sometimes you just want a segment. There's a boat ride called Soca Refuel. That's the only party I know outside of Carnival. You're hearing soca,
just soca.
whole boat ride. And people will go to that because it's almost as though they miss it. So nobody not complaining on the boat. They're there, they have a good time, but outside of that,
Whereas it's funny, in Toronto, it's like the people want to hear soca. Like
think
if they go a
same
fete
homesick vibes.
and they don't,
'Cause they miss
even
it.
though like a lot of people who are interested in Caribbean culture, second generation, it's soca.
I don't know. I feel like we're a little complacent. Home,
think-
because it comes from home.
This is my thing, like, and I'll catch flack for this. The so from January 1st going up till Ash Wednesday, the soca switch, right? I don't believe in it. Let me tell you why.
You
Because
don't believe
January 1st.
in
Yeah, repeat
To Ash
that.
Wednesday,
switching
to Ash
straight
Wednesday.
into soca only
Yeah.
until Ash Wednesday. You don't believe in it. What does
Yeah,
that?
because it's just brainwashing everyone and they're just jamming it in their head and just like, I fed up. I can't deal with this anymore. Make it the most predominant genre because of the season. Let's just say 60-75% of the music and you're just squeezing a little bit of stuff into it because you're jamming soca music into
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
events is just going to be soca.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is that the constant people who are favored for certain music to be played on certain airwaves, you're going to be hearing the same song the top of the hour right through. And that will aggravate people.
That's
I'll
my
give a
complaint.
headache for
That's
sure.
literally my complaint. Like the thing is, we say
Especially
yes,
when,
it's
when
just
we have a
soca.
long season.
Yeah.
Some DJs just don't do it right, in my opinion. Like if you know it has soca from years, I could not get fed up of hearing soca consistently in a party if you do it right, because it will have songs from years that you're hearing and the nostalgia
Yeah.
hitting,
Yeah.
and you're not being jammed with the season songs right now that repetitive. And then some will say, "Oh, we're gonna break the rules," and they drop to "I got a feeling," and
Yeah. They know to
they
mix
wile
it.
it up and they bring you back to soca.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not so that by the time if you really hearing soca January to Ash Wednesday, it's like you know what, give me a rest. Because they'll be repeating the ones of that year so much, it almost feels like you're sick of that.
Yeah,
you feel
yeah.
like you're sick of soca, but you're not sick of soca.
Do you feel like that's tied into the road march situation, though?
Possibly.
I think it is
Because
tied
of the
in
race, yeah.
to
You know?
persons not necessarily respecting DJing as an art form. So, okay, I want to become a DJ, or let me say even somebody with longevity in the field or in the industry. You're so in a hurry to play the big tunes. You're so in a rush to play certain rhythms. As you say, if you know you have a set, especially if you following a man's set, a man now done, he now play a little 30 minutes in a party. It could never be a situation where you feel motivated to play the exact same songs
Copy-paste.
in your set.
Yeah.
Because it's almost as though, and honestly it was Blaze, I believe Blaze and Miles was talking about it on the radio. It's almost as though you know you built that set when you was leaving home. You know now. So you can't adapt quickly. You can't mix it up. You can't
I mean, some
fluctuate.
can. Some can read the room and be like, all right.
But I feel
Yeah, but I
So
feel like
that's where
you
it
shouldn't be
goes
going
left.
in with one set in stone. You're a DJ, you have
Yeah.
multiple sets.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I don't feel like everybody has
Come
the
on.
versatility.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, let's be real, I think that looks like a very entertaining and fun profession, you know?
Yeah.
The whole mixing and thing, whatever. But if you really want to be like, to a certain degree, you are an entertainer as a DJ because you have to bring the vibe. A DJ can make or break your event.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Like literally.
For sure.
Entirely.
Literally. So I feel like everybody has a part to play in how we appreciate
Yeah.
the soca and the party. Because
Absolutely.
as you saying that could ruffle so many feathers with some people. No, we don't have soca whole year, so let me jam it.
Run
Now
it.
it's our time.
Yeah.
Because after Ash Wednesday, you know, no Patrice, no Nadia, no nothing. I mean, you'll hear them probably in, you know, with carnivals in other islands, but some people might feel as though, no, now is our time. So play that music.
We should
and
do a
then-
primary research. Like we should, you know.
Yeah,
but
but
now
now
you
it's
think,
a marketing
do you want to hear
stuff.
soca 365 days a year, or do you want to hear only from, you know, like?
Now
I'm
that we
curious
have
to know.
Trinidad and Steam, I feel like in
Listen, run the Trinidad 365 days a
this
year.
doing that
Juve
now.
party,
I know.
they had like a segment where it was Steam. Just pure steam. We did get some Trinidad music. I hear a little dancehall squeezing.
This is
and
in
it
what?
was in
A party?
yep.
Girl. What party?
Clearly it wasn't memorable.
Dirty.
Oh, right. Okay, Dottie. Mhm.
It's Stink and Dirty. I honestly find
That was fun.
the music was so well done.
So
Right.
well done.
I find the energy was so well curated.
Yeah.
Every sound effect felt on point.
No, I feel like
Literally,
even
everything
promoters,
felt like
they still
a
like
movie.
Like they know who to build
Well,
the
Stink and
vibe.
Dirty know what they're doing.
Yeah,
right?
I feel that's we're having some
solid
conversations
event.
and saying you'll understand the assignment,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Who are to build the party, who are to set the tone, who are to build the party, which DJs like the climax and which one is, you know, to run it home.
And you have
when
to
you're done.
make it like it really is a story, the beginning, the middle, the end.
It's all about the experience.
This person
Yeah.
is
People want to leave with I remember
you
this.
get with all the old school
Yeah, yeah,
soca.
yeah, yeah.
You run a little calypso section.
Yeah.
Tonight the black man feeling
Yeah.
to party. Get we something because at this moment everybody tired. At this moment water coming out. At this moment like
Yeah.
you have to really curate like a whole.
I was now going to say that, curating the event.
Curious in the event, there's so many elements that go into that. But what
So
I
when
think
we
it
come out
comes
there,
down
you're
to,
curating the vibes. You'll be
We
creating.
handle your-
Oh, no, wait.
You'll be creating the vibes.
I don't know if
let
you
me
want
tell
to party with us, you know.
No, let us know. We're gonna book that flight for y'all. Is what was the flight? Is BW what?
When is the
600.
When is the
600,
next
yes,
event?
600.
When is the next event you'll have it?
April 20th.
April 20th.
Right.
Yes,
What's the name
so-
of that event?
Bloom.
Bloom.
Yeah, so that's
So you all hear that?
yes.
April 20th, Bloom. They
Yeah,
are
so
curating.
downtown Toronto.
What's the capacity for that supposed to be like? How much?
Okay, patrons, we're gonna do 700-800 indoors. All genres of music. The last event that we did was the same event she was talking about, Alboe, so a little bit of everything. But that was like a widespread of all global music. So,
okay.
so this
Blended
event,
with a little Caribbean vibes.
so like you have mashups and all that, but with this event we're gonna stick to the soca, dancehall, hip hop, mainstream music.
Okay.
But it's a Easter event, so you're gonna get the kind of Easter feel. You'll
It's
get
a brunch
little
event.
knickknacks.
It's
a
very
sun-
Trini style.
It's a
You dress up.
Sunday.
How you feel about this whole brunch vibe?
Listen,
'Cause
brunch
She
parties
said
is-
brunch for 700 people.
Brunch is where it's at, eh? You see these day
Caribbean
parties?
brunch. Let's remember, this is a
Caribbean
Caribbean brunch.
brunch. You want to go Sunday? and finish by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and go to work Monday. That's a vibe.
That is superb.
Sunday, for some reason, in the last, and I'm sure you can agree, the last like handful of months, I would say even year, Sunday's the vibe.
No, Sunday's the
Like,
vibe.
what's up with that?
Once
though?
it finished
Like,
early.
Once it finished
Once
early,
it finished
exactly.
early, Sunday is the
Hate
vibe.
about
Thursday and
Thursday.
Sunday is the new vibe.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday is to stay home. I'm sorry.
I feel as though like the pace. I think that people understand, okay, you had a long week. You may not want to be outside on this Friday now, Saturday.
Thursday,
you're
you
still
get a little
busy.
bug.
I feel it comes with the adulting.
Yes.
Like the adults appreciate, you know, a little razzle-dazzle on a
For
Sunday.
everybody,
And
that's
try
not
to-
true. Sunday is when you have to organize all your stuff when you're
Well, that's why we win the party
That's
early,
what
so that
So let's
Them
even
trying
wheel
to
it back a
settle
little
you
bit.
up.
You have
Them
to do
trying
it
to settle
Saturday.
you up.
You have to do it
You have to do
Saturday.
Saturdays like
your
your
whole day Saturday.
Saturday's your busy day, you know,
Because
you're running
everywhere
errands.
open.
There's some
Yeah.
scientific fact that Saturday in human brains is like the most like the happiest day of the weekend because it's like Friday's done, Saturday, ooh, you have whole day and you're not going to work Sunday.
Yes. Mhm.
So Saturday's a good day to get things done.
And then Sunday we
You say
jump.
happiest and then get things done.
To go
And
to
then
work
you're
the
like
next day.
on Sunday.
That's what I mean.
You're depressed on Sunday, you know, because it's work Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it balances out.
You can be
Sunday,
intoxicated on a Sunday.
As
at 9
Caribbean
o'clock.
people, you're not respecting how we believe Sundays for the beach.
And that's
Other
what we
than-
go out today too.
That's
eh?
the
Yeah.
thing.
But you could go to
Always
church
make
and then
jokes.
go out after.
No, I mean, I'm
Anyway.
talking in regards to going out. Sunday, the quickest thing I was thinking is like
No,
a
for a
little
lot of people,
picnic on the
still
beach.
Sundays are relaxed day.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
relaxed.
Caribbean vibes is church,
Yeah.
beach.
And the beach.
But we don't
yeah.
have
And
beach
relax.
in Toronto,
And in the
right?
eve- and in the
So
evening,
you're
we go for
brunching.
ice
You're
cream.
brunching.
Yeah, we have cold water and gravel.
Okay. So earlier we were talking, at least for you, you're coming back to Trinity. No, you're going to Barbados.
I'm moving to Barbados.
Wow.
I know.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I think, I have built my skill sets in Toronto. I feel like I've left a little tidbit there. Like I could feel like, all right, I did something. Now it's time to base myself in the Caribbean. Base myself back
And you
here to my
chose
roots.
Barbados.
And I chose Barbados.
Because you have roots in Barbados.
No, I have zero roots in Barbados. My sister and one of my best friends just moved there recently.
Right.
So it's like, all right, okay.
And I tell her that's the vibe.
I
Barbados
went
is the
there. I
vibe.
saw that. That's the vibe. Ask any Trini person. No
Yeah.
Trinis hate Barbados. Barbados is a vibe. Barbados, I think, has a good balance of things out of all the Caribbean islands. It's small island, but it's not so small island that
Yeah.
there's nothing to do.
Still have a certain level of refinement. It don't feel like
Correct.
small island vibes.
Very touristy, very, very touristy, very focused towards that. So I think what I'm trying to go there and do is create a little something for the locals. So again, I tried to see the gaps, obviously, in the market. And when I went there, it's funny, right? The locals are like, God, I'm feeling for a little dance hall, I'm feeling a little soca. I'm like, seriously, this again? Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. So, I'll do my primary research when I get there. But a lot of the people that we work with in Toronto, a lot of people that I've consulted for in Toronto, a lot of people that came from Trinidad and done things in Toronto want to do stuff now in Barbados. So now I kind of will be there to facilitate that.
And this will be under what brand? Your brand.
Yeah, Steph Rose. I branded myself, you know what I mean? Like when I decided to become an entrepreneur, my background, my degrees in marketing, I was like, what brand can I do? What can I name it? And I was like, you know what? The brand is me. It's me. So yeah, I mean, when events happen, you might see my name on it or whatever, but I do a lot of, and I think with people downtown Toronto, I'm involved in majority of the events downtown Toronto. You wouldn't know that because I won't slap my name on most of it, but I'm helping brainstorm, I'm vendor sourcing, I'm screenplay writing.
So was the short-term plan? No, what is the long-term plan?
It's like short term. That's right.
What's the long-term plan?
I think connecting Caribbean culture is really my passion. So wherever I go, it's, even how you said you started, it's connecting
just
Caribbean
excited.
culture. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm passionate. And it's not one of those things where, I said I went and I had the Canadian experience, but it's not one of those things where I'm now like, ooh, let me benefit off the Trinity. Like my whole personality is because I'm from Trinidad.
Right.
That's me,
Right.
that's my culture. That's me. So yeah, I am excited to just continue that and connect the Caribbean culture. It's
what's
so
the
small.
main difference between prior to you deciding to move there? How frequently
To Toronto?
to Barbados?
Yeah.
How frequently were you traveling to Barbados or spending time?
I've been
in
there
Barbados?
twice in my life.
Wow.
It's one of those big
This
risk
big-
moments,
Yeah. I'm like,
Nothing in life is permanent. Everything is temporary, right? So if I decide I hate it, which I doubt I will, I'll go back to Toronto. I'll come back to Trinidad. We'll figure it out. But everybody I've told I'm moving Barbados, they're like, wait, jealous. That's the move. I love Barbados. Like,
Yeah.
Like we do another primary research. Come. Let me run. Drop in the comments. You love Barbados or not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited, Like, I'm excited to move back to the Caribbean. Trinidad, for me, I will be back and forth. I just don't see myself right now in Trinidad. I see myself back and forth. I think I need to be somewhere. I've been in this whole very convenient lifestyle for the last 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
So I think moving back to Trinidad might be a little...
Yeah, I mean, and based on
A little
what you said,
shaky,
in
but-
terms of what you said you're passionate about, I mean, you don't have to introduce us. You can't introduce us to the culture that you're trying to expose.
Whereas
other people
Barbados,
to.
tourists there left, right, and center. Sure, no
Yeah.
problem. I can run an event easy.
You made
I
the
can-
decision to move to Barbados before you made the decision to come home to play Carnival.
No.
So you
Carnival
played-
was always in the mix.
Okay.
Yeah. Carnival was like...
And
since
then you was
last
like,
year,
I'm going
I ain't
Barbados.
missing this. And then on like January 7th, I decided, I'm going to bite the bullet. Yeah.
And like I said, January 7th. You remember
I
that?
remember.
The date.
I remember it. Yeah, it was a very casual conversation. And I was like, all right. And it's funny because I went to Barbados the first week of... January. I was like, wait, no. Hey, real nice. Saw 1-2 little gaps. My sister, my best friend is there. I'm kind of like, oh... When I got back to Toronto, I was like, I think this is going to be my last year. I'm feeling like this might be my last year in Toronto. And then opportunities of just, the last 2 years I've been building my brand and building what I've been doing. And now it just hit. And it makes sense to move back.
So your sister and
One of
your
my best friends, yeah.
they are not into what you're into.
No.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So it's not to say like, like you're
No.
seeing somebody doing it and it's brand new.
No. Yeah, and that's kind of similar to Toronto. I got into hosting. So hosting is like, what is hosting? You know what I mean? When I decided to quit my full-time job and jump into the Caribbean scene, kind of the first opportunity that got thrown to me was hosting a party. And in Toronto, hosting a party meant you post a flyer, you stand up with a bottle, and you have a group around you. I was like, I want to change this. Like, hosting means hosting. So that's kind of what I got into. And I didn't seek that out. It kind of sought me out. And I did that for a whole summer straight. People were like, you're going to burn out, you're going to burn out, you're going to burn out. And I always had that in the back of my mind. And I did a lot of events. And then I was like, right at the point before I was about to burn out, I was like, wheel back.
Yeah.
Disappear. Then I started to get into the consulting side of things, the coordination, the back end things. You don't even know I'm part of that event. And that's what I found I was really more passionate about. I love being in front of the camera, but I also love being behind the camera.
The scenes.
Yeah.
So that's like, this is the plan. For
This is
Tobago.
the plan.
For
Tobago.
For Barbados.
I love
Yeah,
Tobago.
what plan
Did you
to
go to
Tobago?
Tobago Carnival?
That's the plan.
We just had a discussion with somebody. We're gonna go.
We're going to go.
All right. So
I gotta go.
All decisions on a whim.
We're gonna go. She's gonna be in Barbados already, so we have somewhere to sleep. So we'll be
Wait,
in
they're talking about
Barbados.
Tobago?
For Tobago?
No, but I telling her the itinerary.
Oh. Crop over.
So we'll be in Barbados. We will do Grenada. We will do Tobago.
So you'll have intentions of touching the different carnivals?
My goal next year is to do all the carnivals. This year it's a little too...
Yeah, because I mean, you're settling
I can't do
yourself.
Jamaica right now. It's too quick. I mean, who knows? I mean, hey, sponsor me. But yeah, I think that will help in terms of what we want to do. Let's see the whole vibes of all the carnivals. Everywhere has a carnival now. All the Caribbean islands have a carnival. I want to see what that's about.
And then the conversation now is who has the best carnival?
Well, Trinidad always. So.
All right. It's
I think we should stop having the
patriotic
conversation.
as hell.
I think
No,
we
it's-
should just
no, it's-
enjoy
it's-
the carnivals and stop having the
It's
conversation.
understood
I
now.
agree.
I think we are the one
Honestly.
bringing up the conversation.
No, but
Who's bringing it
the
up?
thing
Who's
is,
bringing it up?
It's other islands bringing up the
regardless if
conversation.
we not bringing it up, we subconsciously have already put it out into the open that
You take all our artists.
I mean, he's not lying. Well, no.
You take all the artists.
Let's talk
Even
about
when
it.
your artist struggling, you're featuring with we artists.
He looking to get rinsed in the comments. See me here today playing it safe.
I'm going to speak with my chest up.
Yeah.
So it's understood. It's like we don't only call it the Mecca; they call it the Mecca also too. And you seek our producers, the artists.
We have a lot of talented people out of Trinidad. A lot. I mean, in the Caribbean in general.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously. But
I saw somebody
know-
put in a comment.
people from the islands would be familiar first with the carnival that they started. And they would enjoy that and then come to ours and be overwhelmed or not like it
a little
because
overstimulated.
somebody posts a whole review of carnival
And say one
saying
bad
that,
thing.
they prefer it this way because that's probably what they were exposed to first. I feel that is a genuine feeling to have. Like even when you say Trini food is the best, because that's
is a
what you
genuine
have
feeling,
been
but why
brought
putting it
up.
on
We
Trinidad
know,
internet?
yeah.
Oh, God. No, but-
You know, it's funny because we had a
Why bring it
conversation
in?
earlier. I think the foundation of Carnival will always be that foundation. However, every island, every country, every major city, whatever their culture is, will then affect the foundation of Carnival. So, you know, you look at something like Caravana, it's very different from, no, I haven't been to Notting Hill, but, you know, like Notting Hill, it's very different to Jamaica Carnival. Jamaica Carnival
Very
playing
different
dance
to
all on the road.
Miami Carnival.
Very different from Miami Carnival, yeah. That phase, yeah, I know what you mean. But I think it has to do with the foundation will always be the same. The music will technically always be the same, but
It's
the
the
twist
vibes,
will
the
be
vibes, and then the culture. And I think just the example that y'all gave, even a simple thing with the rum, like we don't.
I've
Stop,
had
you know.
sober
We don't
carnivals in
stop.
Toronto, okay? Anyways.
I 100%
No,
think
let-
the
don't lie
difference
to
is
me.
the culture.
Let's not
could've been
lie to
funner.
people, okay? Let's not lie to people. You can't drink on the road, but we do it.
We do it.
Yeah, right.
We have camel packs with, I don't
Yeah.
want
You
to
just
say
have to
what
be
we have in
more
it.
discreet.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, there's a certain level of lawlessness.
But you know what?
here.
They have a lot of Trinidadian people that have sections and bands in Canada. People have moved and migrated and do their thing. And they've known to kind of work around it. Like you go
Right.
on the band, you ask for, yeah, can I get the jungle juice?
Yeah.
Alcohol is rum punch.
You don't
So
understand
there's
the
ways.
code.
It's a speakeasy party.
Yeah.
There's
don't understand
ways.
the code.
Watch
But
how we
yeah.
had to move out of Toronto just now. But
We didn't say
anyways,
it.
The comments and views.
But again, I think you know we could leave and know that not we did all that we could, but
I mean, it is what it is. You brought the vibe. You
brought the vibe.
Respect the rules and the laws. And I
Correct.
don't find anything wrong with
and
that.
now leave it for the younger generation to then take
Yeah.
and do.
she's going to be in Barbados, and I would say in the next couple weeks, months, I will be in Trinidad. So all like both of us are deciding like, okay, how are we going to expand now? So we have been seeing what has been happening in the islands before, but we want to change with what we learned up there. It's
But also take models
vice,
that we've
it's just vice
created.
versa,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, in your case, where are you trying to fit in? Or what new are you trying to bring to the
I
table?
ain't trying to fit in.
So now was it Cordell ain't trying to fit in.
I am the person I ain't trying to fit in. I try to be the unorthodox person in every single thing I trying to do.
And I think that
So-
that connects with authenticity. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the difference. Like, I think everybody's trying to fit in a box and trying to be like, you know, what has projected me the most is being authentic. And I think that's what you guys said here earlier today. Where I was like, how's the vibes gonna go? You're like, authentic, natural.
Yeah,
And I think
just flow.
that, I think that's really what, you know, we're not trying to fit in. We're not trying to obviously adapt to certain things, but being yourself and being truly and fully authentic. And that's kind of what, you know, Dirty Medics Toronto does. It's like, even us when we go out as a committee, we were saying this earlier, we're the life of the party. Why? Because we having fun. We winding down, we drinking, we chasing with everybody as well. We're not just like a stush group. It's like line with everybody. And, you know, that's what I find a lot of people don't do. They're very like, to them, you know, they want to
Have
wild out
no-
too much. They might take a picture. People might judge me. Who cares?
Yeah.
Being
Be
stush
authentic,
has
have
been
fun.
played out.
That's
We
boring.
just
That's
played
old
out.
news.
Being stush is played
That's
out.
old
We
news.
knocking
So what you
glass
trying
and
to say, when you
banging.
come to
Yeah.
Bloom, is a session.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
Come with your washcloth, your face
Yeah.
towel.
Brunch and bacchanal.
It's like come to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Nah,
I don't
don't
wanna
leave
be
your
Even
house.
if foreigners
Don't leave
or
your house and not enjoy
outsiders
yourself because
are way more
You paying your money to stand up and not have a good time?
Don't leave your house
Listen,
and
some
enjoy
people
yourself.
enjoy that, to take a two picture and go home. They'll pay their money to do that.
Listen,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
went to, this was just by chance, Blue Range, and they are jumping high. They're from all the different islands. They are having a granderific time. And I felt lame, and I'm not a lame partier. And I'm talking about they are jumping off the ground because the DJ mashing up and them just having a good, it's euphoric. Euphoric. Y'all know him, right? Watch now. He mashed up
it
the
up.
crowd. Because I think he just understands the audience. And they had a great time in that party. This is one of the greatest parties. I mean, I was not participating.
You wasn't jumping.
No, I went Sun Nation. And then, like,
That sun was hot in Sun
all right,
Nation.
okay, so let's talk about
so
it.
imagine you go in there and let's pose and have the pictures and eat the food. And it's a good vibe. I think, like, with events like that, You go in front of the stage, the persons who want to have a good time and enjoy the music and enjoy the vibes, they're in
It's
front
there.
of the stage.
Yeah.
And everybody else, it's giving social, you know, we look good, we look nice, we
Yeah.
have food, we're socializing.
Yeah.
So after you gone from that, the sun sap you all the way out. And
Way
I go
boy,
to
yeah.
party in the night and people jumping.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like
fair
they're having
enough.
a grand, perfect time. I was just like, this is where the vibe is.
I guess that's why they have multiple events. You know?
Multiple events, correct.
Multiple events to cater to whatever you want.
I think that's what exactly, and that's why somebody say, "Wait, but that event was so good. Everybody looked nice. The food was good." But for somebody else,
That was too much. That was
hell am I
stush
doing
for them.
that?
Yeah.
But I think we need to like think about events of, let's compare back then to now. All right, so let me make this example. I consistently see this clip of Super Blue in Skinner Park in 1992.
Yeah, I watch it like 2 days ago.
I continuously see it, and I just like, I was born
Vibe.
in the wrong era.
were you all here for like that time period of Hardfet? Hardfet was Carnival Thursday, no? It was insane in terms of that
No, we was
energy.
here.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah, well, we were here, but you didn't
But you
go
didn't
to
go to that
Yeah.
party, right? And like, I feel like for the average, it was just like, it wasn't like a priority party because it's the first time or the second time they're having that. That was the first time they're having Hardfet. The energy, I guess it was marketed as a short pants, sneakers, and whatever.
Comfortable.
You see that clip that you're talking about? It was that exact vibe. And I never experienced that energy in a party in my whole entire life. Partying from private, private to present.
We'll teach you about previous.
Yeah.
We'll give you an update.
You
on
say
what
preview,
it
what you mean? Preview the club?
If you're from South, you know that
is. Dusty
fresh
book.
up-
I heard that. All them
Fresh
West
out of
boys used to
convent.
pump south and back in the days.
Fresh out of convent, and then now you're going to preview, and you're going to Space Lanuba, and you're
Space.
fist pumping, and you're having a time, and you're thinking that lit. I never experienced, like, you go to the party, and I literally, it was feeling like a buzzing sensation because everybody energy is so high.
Yeah,
because
that's
really,
fun.
actually, you're not studying your outfit.
Yeah.
You're not studying nothing. You're not even really studying to wind down, you know. You're just studying to have the best time ever.
That's
Carry
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Carrying it.
Carry it.
To
You're
carry
carrying
it.
everything.
So they raise up. I mean, I don't think it would be for them alone, but if they get other promoters to tap into that,
Well, I guess, again, there's a party to suit everybody.
yeah, they have
There's
to
so
take
much-
that event out of that venue that they were because it was so small. That was crazy. That what people want. That what we need. That type of energy and that type of.
I guess I think
vibes.
that's the beauty of Carnival too, because, you know, the saying Carnival is always there. Everybody who's done events, people who do mass, they can just keep on progressing. They can listen to the people and they could keep on progressing. So,
Yeah.
like, what does that leave Carnival in years to come?
We could safely say that there's something for anybody.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Carnival. And I was
well
listening to
tailored.
one of my friends and I was like, listen, if you're into the stick fighting, the pan, the
Pin, the powder,
yeah,
the
like
dress up.
Yes, you can, because it came up as a conversation where persons who feel like, you know, Carnival will come and it's not for them. They're not into that. But it's just like there are so many different things because it's more than just partying. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So I have never been to pan, but on the pan side, you know, on the, what do you call it, the
Greens.
Grandstand.
The greens.
It was crazy. Like, I'm just saying.
The energy is like
All
goosebumps.
these here are onto something. I'm not knocking it, let's be real. Nobody can compete with the next side and then even the greens. I mean, there's the party, there's the vibes. But seeing that display and the energy that they put in on that stage, like if you're really into that or if you're really into different things, like you could have a whole Carnival experience and it have nothing to do with partying and linemen and all about
Culture.
culture.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel about Skinner Park when they having the Calypso competition.
Yeah,
where
Calypso
you know
competition, the stick
that
fighting,
tailored
the
to
extempo.
a older crowd, but yet still obviously younger people would have inherited that from seeing
For
their
sure.
parents
Yeah.
go printing their t-shirts, everybody there setting up shop, chairs, food, everything. This is a whole production, you know.
For sure.
Walking with the things to pelt, unfortunately,
No,
but it's a
not gonna lie.
whole
This
production.
2025 show me how rich the culture is. I mean, I always knew. We know.
sure.
But I mean, now, as you get older and you develop your own likes and I guess you're
Yeah.
probably fed up going to the same old parties. And
For
I said,
sure.
let me just double dabble
Even
in that.
extempo, I didn't know there was a whole competition for extempo to win like in a big
There's
way
so
like
much
that.
going on.
It's a whole competition.
No, it's a real going
I
on.
following watching extempo and seeing pretty them I'm like, wait, this is a whole extra thing that not even being marketed, but the people who it for they
Yeah.
know it happening, they know to go, and it's it's a whole competition. It's not a soca monarch, but it's a whole competition, and
As I
people
said,
give
Even the
their all
ultimate
to
soca
it.
champion. That's like The Voice. That was like
No, I'm so glad they brought
American
that back.
Idol. You know what I mean? Of
I'm so
Trinidad.
glad they brought that back because we are lacking with that whole soca monarch thing. Because I saw somebody comment, they was talking about why we are not the best carnival now. We don't even have a soca monarch. And I say, all the whole list of things we have, you select that is the criteria that make it be like
People
yeah,
will always have a problem whether you're doing good or bad,
Somebody
right?
always have to complain. This
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
you have to
yeah, yeah.
remember. Someone always has an opinion. They believe their opinion is fact. You just have to let people be. You give them internet. Oh God, everyone is a critic. They should be on TV.
don't worry, gonna be somebody in the comment and say, you get them a podcast, you get them a
Yes.
mic,
Yeah,
and they're gonna
yeah,
sit
yeah.
on there.
They're
Come
gonna-
here, lady. Come take a seat.
I'll show it.
They're gonna watch. Who's this one in this orientation? You know what you're talking about.
That's why I personally don't like the comparison of which carnival better, because there's a whole a cultural aspect involved in ours that other islands cannot even touch.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be really
Because
silly, yeah?
why would you? Do you have like a whole pan competition? Like, be real.
Yeah.
Does that exist? Do you
created
guys
the
do
steel
example?
pan, though,
Are you
so-
having like a whole calypso competition? Do you know
We
what I
did.
mean?
We did, it's facts.
Are you even?
Let's just start
Yeah.
with the music.
It's just.
Carnival
no,
is
listen,
around soca
I
and
want
calypso
I
music,
want the
right?
culture to be
Created,
highlighted.
originated in Trinidad and Tobago.
Step up the ledge, guys.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm doing Spice, but I just want to experience the Juve because
Jab jab bouillon. That's a whole. They're doing a thing as well.
That's
You know what I
a
mean?
vibe.
So I agree.
Jab
Like
jab
and I'm not going to knock the people.
I,
want to
I find
That's
jab
embrace
jab
me,
music not
please.
playing
jump in
enough
and
in
sing.
our
Yeah,
carnival, to
for
be honest.
sure.
I really love jab jab music.
Yeah.
Love. I can get a whole, I can have our segment of the jab jab
I'm
music.
excited to see the
To be
progression
fair.
of all the islands do
Yeah.
their thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Again, people at the top, they don't compete, they collaborate.
Yeah.
So I like that you said, why is this even a discussion? Who's bad? Like, I like to kick and be over patriotic and be like, Trinity's the best, like, we are the best curry, we are the best everything, you know? But at the end of the day, Caribbean is so connected and we're so one. And if we continue being as one, that's why I say, like, the Caribbean culture hasn't even hit globally in terms of popularity, in terms of, you know? Of course. So did y'all play mass?
No, what I did just
Monday, yeah.
just Monday, and there's a whole same thing we were talking about in terms of people not playing. People who from south or people who from outer road who wouldn't necessarily want to play mass. Like I know so many people who play carnival and they don't want any part of Carnival Tuesday.
Right.
They want to play mass on Monday because it's a
Yeah.
way more free up. What y'all think about that?
I think the space for designers and the space for small business owners for the whole Monday wear and the Monday itself is great. And even me as a masquerader, obviously, this is my first time in 5 years playing, like, I think I did enjoy only having to put on all of everything on one day.
Right.
Because it is a lot. Hello.
Yeah.
Like, frontline costumes is ropes and I still have scars and things. It is a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I'm 50-50 about it, you know? I think it's a
Like, I
great
feel
space
like
to have something new and different and people to be able to design. But when you look at the finance part of it, it's a lot.
Because Monday's a thing now.
Monday's a thing.
Monday's a
Monday's
thing
a big
now.
thing.
Yeah. So
Don't mess with people on their Monday way.
Because
you
I've
know?
seen people say, wait, we're Carnival too short, boy. Them 2 days, we want more.
God, well, you know we sick. First of all.
And annoying.
Never,
You know, we
never
still want to
satisfied.
pump low-key. Wednesdays have all kind of saying, like, you know.
Speaking of, we had to go somewhere later. Anyways, we had to go out and.
I wish that it was...
Anyways,
Anyway.
oh yeah, but okay. As from the male perspective of it, we are the simplistic ones, right? I spend my money. I will drink my money.
Yeah.
Right? So we there for sure Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
I understand people who believe that it's too short or we could get a third day. Oh God, but you're washing it out now. You're going out every weekend till January 1st.
This was a long season too. How much...
It was long, but it was great. But it was
It was
long.
great. It was great.
I
But
find
it's
everybody
too
should have
much.
been contented.
Correct. How much more
Midnight
you want?
Tuesday.
Nah. We like to overdo as Trinis. We like to overdo. What's next? What's
Now it's
next?
time to branch
More.
out. Y'all go and experience the different carnivals.
Correct.
Lock back and come back,
Yeah,
reset.
I'm looking forward to seeing what all the other islands have to offer. Yeah. Starting with Tobago Carnival, we there.
We're not starting.
That's
with that.
ending with
That's
Tobago.
Right,
ending.
Carnival.
true. That's in October.
Ending with. We'll say ending
Right,
with.
yeah.
So we're starting with
What's next?
Well,
I
next
know-
is Jamaica Carnival.
When is Jamaica Carnival?
April.
When is St. Lucia?
April
That's
is
July.
what? July?
St. Lucia and St. Vincent is July, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Spice is down there too.
Spice.
July,
August.
August.
Yeah.
When is crop over?
August
Crop
and
over is
Caravan is August.
And I see thing, yeah. I mean, no shade. I don't want us to go back to that space, but you could imagine having those carnivals so close together. It's almost could be limiting in terms of the growth for them. You see, like, oh, we are at
Right.
the top of the year, and then there's this long gap, and then all of them
Boom, boom, boom,
so
boom, boom, boom.
close. Yeah.
Well, let them do the thing now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
I'm
but
kidding.
you know, the thing is that the culture is growing so much. Carnival is
So you
a
mean the
thing
demand
now.
is high?
Yeah, so you'll keep getting more people, and some people will go maybe the closest country where a family
that.
member is.
Yeah.
So it will continuously grow. So I ain't worried.
For that,
about
I would
it.
give like an example of my netball team. We live in Madrid. One of our teammates are from Barbados.
Right.
And obviously, me as a trainee know Trinidad Carnival is
It's
the
the best
greatest show
one.
on earth. The greatest show on earth. When she's saying, guys, you have to come to Carnival. I'm like, yeah, you do. Which one is debatable? But yeah. But also because I know 3/4 of the team are teachers, which means they cannot just throw their frame on a Monday and a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Barbados is literally
One day.
perfect
Boom.
for
In
them
August.
in August because
right.
we have July, August off. So
And
none of
that's
them
probably what
possibly going to think.
influenced the timing for that. July, August.
So
'Cause a
all
lot
of them have
are there,
holidays?
Yeah.
Outside.
But does any other Caribbean island, I'm generally asking, we had a long season, right? After Christmas, it's just
Yeah.
carnival events.
Yeah.
Anybody else doing it like that? Right down till they lie down, till Monday and Tuesday, and then some?
Maybe I think it's like.
Huh?
behind
Another
the scenes.
patriotic.
No, I think if they
Zimbabwe.
would have made that decision, it would have been seen as competition.
Maybe they will
immediately, and I
start to
think
do
it would-
that.
they would
Maybe
have
they
said,
will
no,
get
not
there
do it.
as it
Yeah.
starts to build up.
I mean,
Because
it's all about development. And same thing we're talking about the demand. If toileting.
maybe we should switch the topic.
Toileting, we'll see how it goes. Good luck.
No, I mean technically, like if they, like you said, all our artists going there, they here. They're here for our season in our time, booked and busy. Now they have to jump on flights to go Grenada.
artists
But,
working,
like, I
man.
mean,
They're working.
it is
What?
just so strenuous to say that, okay, we got Paul Carnival same time as Oleon. Really?
No, that's not really
you know
a
what I
bright
mean?
idea.
It's not a bright idea, I would say,
I
for the
wouldn't say-
culture.
I
She
would
said
say
it's not a bright
I would say
idea.
to have it at the same time, but it's just like, okay, for me as a trainee, unless same thing like you said, sponsor me, and then I'll go to multiple. But if you're thinking about it, like all the things that you have to do, the average person not going to go to multiple
Correct.
carnivals because I mean it's events and
It's
then
expensive,
It's expensive.
especially
It's
like
not
if you
cheap.
think about it as a foreigner. Like we've known so many people that came down to Trinidad for Carnival.
Yeah.
We just came back. We were like, okay, we haven't played in 5 years. We have somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
You know, we have links with tickets. Like an average
And
person
then
coming
even,
down here.
even if you come back, it's still not as competitive
Correct,
as
yeah.
some of the other islands. So duality.
Well, I'll go there, do my primary research, and you know.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to do as well is what we've done in Toronto, right? Like I'm saying, okay, I'm moving back to Barbados. He's gonna base himself back. It's taking some of the models and, you know, there's events that happen year round. You know, like look at the events that happen. You know, Stink and Dirty, Sun Nation, all those events happen year after year.
Yeah.
I want to start doing that now and bringing a model from Toronto and bringing it here and seeing
Yeah.
how it does.
So, and Koda, that's what you said you're looking to do. So
What will happen? Or you will see when it happens.
Well, we
I
will
ain't
see.
selling. I ain't giving no
We will
nuggets.
see.
I ain't
Like
giving
that,
no
and then-
cookies.
Like
Name
to
another
talk,
trailer.
because
right
for the
now the scene for
production.
us is, okay, after the carnival, you might have quote unquote our summer events. Right now the wave is R&B events. If you all didn't know. Just
Yeah.
letting you all know every Monday morning. No shade. Because this podcast doing an R&B event just now, but no shade. Every Monday morning is an R&B event.
Yeah.
So it's I guess they're trying to fill the gaps in terms of having things for people to go to. Because, you know, club culture don't really last long in Trinidad. So as much as you mention, that club that you mentioned, I don't want to name drop anything. Like, a lot of people we don't have constant spaces to go and lime unless you're liming by a bar. And with our unfortunate crime situation, it's not something that people look into. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are really, really boxed in and locked down until Carnival come again because they don't even feel safe.
Which is very interesting because even when I lived here 10 years ago, the place was pumping, Avenue was pumping, they had
was
things
pumping.
to do, they had events. Now, you know, I haven't been back for Carnival in 5 years, but every year I'm back 2 to 3 times a year. And I ask my friends, and it's like, what's the vibe tonight?
No, I don't know.
Like,
I don't know what is the issue there, but
It's the
club
internet.
culture definitely the
Internet.
internet.
He's back on the internet talk.
It is.
Grandpa. Grandpa.
I'm not trying to be a
Conspiracy
grandpa.
theory.
Let's be real, right? Everything that's motivated or driven that we do is whatever we see on TikTok and Instagram. And we
Right.
try and
Replicate.
twist it. No, not I won't say replicate it, twist it in a way to fit for Caribbean people. So people will just stay home and watch TikTok instead of like going to Caribbean events because they'll be like, all right, I'm tired from Carnival. I'm going to fast. No, because I don't really have.
So when I say internet, you mean like literally being consumed by the internet?
Okay,
or
so
being
let's
influenced
Prefer to
by
spend
the
time
internet?
on the internet.
Don't scroll.
The R&B stuff that everyone is getting into now, R&B only and all those things have been happening for 6-7 years ago in the States and Canada.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it's just something.
Somebody come with the idea and be like, okay, push and now it's
Yeah.
Let me bring it in Trinidad. Let me see what can happen.
Yeah.
So it's people are not organic or authentic with certain things there, and then it's just whatever the internet's saying, you'll drop it there, and that is that.
I mean, generally, I feel like these stakeholders involved in club
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, totally.
have to drive it the way somebody will drive an army event, because we know club from leaving secondary school, the peak age to drink, going last day in the mall, celebs immediately. That's a big thing. Everybody know to go to the club at that specific time. Blah blah. What's going on?
Drink some more tea or something. Sip your tea.
Listen, this brain is bilingual.
It's the after carnival
it's
season. Don't worry,
putting,
we're allowing you.
Like in that particular time in university, we know every Wednesday we hit 10. We know that ladies free. This is something. This is happening. This is the club at this time. Something is being curated at that club to get people to come and making it so steamy. We want to go. All our friends want to go. There is no internet to talk about it.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
we know who owns a club knows what needs to happen. How to should be able to get people there, regardless. If they have to
Youth's
tap
missing out,
into
boy. I
the
mean, no
They had
club.
nothing. They have nothing now.
If they have to
The
tap
avenue
into
was
the
my
It's a
stomping
rite of
ground.
passage. When you finish school, you're supposed to be in the club.
in the clubs.
Oh, they have TikTok.
Yeah.
This is
In
what
the
I'm
clubs.
telling
Right,
you.
okay. They're preoccupying themselves with other things. And then, as I say, I feel as though it's twofold too. Like, the scene is hot. Your parents might prefer you being home, scrolling on your phone, rather than sending you out to the club.
Yeah.
No, but we parents was calling me on the mic, Repka. Your,
Oh my
your
God.
mom outside.
But it was understood. You go online. But really,
you
and
up.
truly, there are
Wow.
so many
To
other
At the
picking
same
you up.
job. So until your mother is outside, you there splitting on the stage.
We wanted so much of that club energy. House party days. Mark.
Wait.
House party days, Mark.
Wait, you was
I
a
run
part of
it out.
that
Can
I
you
run it
president?
away.
Can
Wait,
the
just
president
hold,
of the
just
House
hold.
Party Association?
too? Yeah.
Excuse me. Can the president of the House Party Association?
Exactly.
Let's
No,
educate the West
educate.
Gill of these, because we are the South
Jeez,
people,
come
right?
on.
We had our own house parties,
Hey,
alright?
that was no house party. That was
House
get
party
together.
days was
No.
insane.
All they
There
had-
had no parents involved.
Or they
That's all
had
I'll say.
or they had chips and dip and things.
She said there's no parents involved.
You wasn't there. You don't know.
They had Joshy singing karaoke.
No, it was wow.
That's crazy.
What had caused that?
Listen,
What had
Mark,
caused that?
dancing. I believe it's dancing.
No,
I believe
it was the passa
The
passa.
men just-
It was
the
Men
Passa
just
Passa,
wanted a
Ready
place
Wednesday.
to dance.
Dirty
I'm
Friday.
telling you, men
It was
just
the
wanted a
frogging
place
back.
It
to
was the
dance.
frogging back.
It's
Yes.
Passa Passa days.
No,
We just
it
wanted
was
a
the
place to
scarf
dance.
Now they're doing it
movement.
on the internet.
It
like
was
you
the
said.
scarf
The
movement.
scarf movement and jerking and all
Scarf
that.
happened while it started. So I wouldn't say scarf movement, but it's dancing. I honestly
Yes.
believe it's dancing.
Bring back the dancing.
No, this generation don't even know.
Party
Well,
crowd
they're doing
days.
it online.
They are doing it online.
They're doing it online.
That's
So back to his
sad.
point, that makes sense. We were dancing and doing dance.
In
Yeah,
dance
they're
circles.
dancing on the
So all
screen
this stuff
now.
calling me old, I'm making a point.
I never call you all that. Just remember.
No, it's true. But I guess it's safer to do things home, scrolling, dancing on your phone, than what we're dealing with right now.
But don't worry, like the events scene, like what I'm doing now, I'm looking at the pockets of the times where events are not happening. So I'm looking at what is the repetitive, and I'm looking at the spaces of where events are not happening. So that's where I'm trying to tap in.
Listen, the post-Easter gap, which is leading up, because everybody will rush. There's always a surge of events July, August. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have can't have an event during Lent. You know, it's predominant. And we even have Ramadan going on right now, not so?
Yeah.
So, a little weird. People now come up, recuperating after the carnival.
Now sit on the
Yeah,
streets,
you
you
see
know.
that after Easter, definitely. And you see that September
October.
to, yeah. That's the 2 gaps there.
You'll find me. You see that September, October?
Yeah, that's it there.
I'll be there.
That's it there. Because I think the only major popular event right now, you know, we have Independence Day, so you have Independent, like in terms of like a large event, but the promoters are not going to be sleeping. That's the time
Now
when you
remember
get a reggae event,
July,
you
August
get
is when band
dancehall.
launch happening. Or that's when band launch
A little
happening. So when
spurt of carnival.
And
So
vibes.
when- so
and a lot of
parties
people don't
picking back up.
participate in band launch season.
I guess.
You know, like it's not really a thing.
But it creates the hype, at least for like
Only for masqueraders.
only for
the
masqueraders.
rest of the country
You're right.
is
You're
sleeping.
right. Yeah.
The rest of the country,
And do you know how many
is
people play mass?
sleeping.
So the party's there.
they're sleeping.
Well, the events are always happening. We know that there's a market for that. So we in your right. We in your right.
No, we safe. We safe.
Money have we
Very
making.
safe.
We making it. So
We're gonna be doing like Steph is gonna be doing her stuff in Barbados. I'll be doing my stuff in Trinidad. We will work on certain stuff together.
we're still not gonna not be in Toronto.
We're not
like,
gonna be in Toronto. It's just that we go in everywhere.
Plug your brands. Plug your individual brand and then the
Steph Rose.
Steph
on
Rose.
Steph Rose 9
right.
and Steph Rose on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't do that TikTok thing. I'll just be on Instagram.
Grandpa.
This is how I just hold my phone. I just hold my phone so I do this.
A little bit of
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, so King Cordy, so king.cordy. My brand, I have no brand. I just work in the background.
Right.
You see, like everyone who like the flams and be in
Ooh,
front of the
I hope this is
camera.
not a directed thing here.
Wow.
You see how we kind of
I'm not throwing shots, I send shots. Right?
kidding. It's all love.
But yeah, it's just I work behind the scenes. And we're gonna work on certain stuff. The September, October, Barbados is gonna have some stuff, Trinidad is gonna have some stuff, and we're gonna make it work.
There's power in, and I think I tell a lot of my clients is the first question: do you want to be the face of your brand, or do you want not anybody to know that you're part of it? And I think people like personalization, and people like to feel that there's somebody
It's
that
the
they.
wave now.
That's why I was
somebody
like,
has
cool.
to volunteer. to
My
be like,
brand is
okay,
me. Let
yeah.
me just put myself out there. I'm a big extrovert, so I didn't mind being the
it works,
face of
it's
certain
natural.
things. But I also have the power in being behind the scenes. Like a lot of people don't know that, So, yeah.
And it's outside the events too. So like what she was referring to of like the screenwriting and stuff. We started something called Off the Meds. That was in Toronto. And it's basically just meeting with different people, asking them questions.
We bring on people.
And we just bring on, so like when we did it last year, we had Libs was in the country. So Libs did it with us. And it was just simple questions.
Again, like
that
that's
we were asking.
natural, yeah.
Natural.
What is the agenda with that? Like off the meds?
Shit talk.
You're bringing on. Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
so yeah, so like medics off the meds. is
Oh, I got
what
it
in the-
immediately, and I was
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say,
Don't feed it out of repeat
I was like,
faster.
Yeah.
I like that.
You got it.
No, off the meds is good.
I got that reference.
Yeah, it's like you can't come on unless you have
Experience.
had a drink.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Relax.
People like themselves.
Relax
It's funny
yourself.
because I wrote, again, the screenplay for all of it. I wrote down the questions, whatever.
So this is a podcast. Like, what's the setup for it?
It's not a podcast.
It's more for content purposes to have
Right.
content
This
pushing
is a
out
fixed
always, right?
video. It's not a podcast. No,
Correct.
It's not a continuous
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, but it will be like a series, right? So it's funny because I write all the questions, but I like behind the camera and in front of the camera. So of course now I sit down to do the thing, and I'm like, shit, I didn't even prepare any answers for my own questions. Like,
That's all it's flowing. It's just,
yeah,
just be
exactly,
organic.
exactly. So let's be in that for sure. But yeah, we try to do different things, But
So we come in Barbados. for the next
yes,
event.
I'll let y'all know the vibe.
What your guys' collaboration going to look like now that you're not?
We
in
have
the
to
same
discuss.
space?
We have to have
in
a
the same
meeting.
space. In the
Yeah,
same
it's gonna
space.
be on There's gonna be a
Yeah, no, we have
long.
to- honestly, things have been happening like this.
Yeah.
And obviously with the carnival season that just happened and everything, we
So
need
for
to
you
sit
now, it's time to settle. Well,
I can't even use the word settle. Yes, but
establish your
settle-
roots.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
And build
then
my
for you
skill
now,
sets.
You're
I've-
coming back home. So y'all are just some roaming agents. So you've been 10 years.
10
and now you're going
years.
to Barbados. Then you've been in Canada for how long?
I would say back and
Since
forth
school.
since 2012.
Right.
So like I was in Trinidad from 15 to half of 18. So I went back summer 2018. I've been in Canada since.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a while. So I'm
So
coming
you went
back.
through COVID there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
It was, oh my God. Anyways,
We
that's
had
another
fun.
topic.
We had
That was
fun.
another-
Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about Canada and COVID because that we had the longest lockdown in North America. So
Oh,
we
geez.
just leave it as that. you know.
Right.
That's when I decided maybe it's time to leave Canada. Anyways,
But yeah, well, we'll figure it out. We're just going to have a couple of meetings in the next couple of days, weeks, because she has to go to Barbados. Then two of us have to go back to Canada. Then we have to obviously prepare for Bloom and all those things. So it's a new movement.
yeah,
it's
all very
good.
fresh. It's
Yeah.
all very fresh. But
It sounds very
excited.
exciting, though.
Yeah, I feel alive. I definitely feel alive. And I think Caribbean culture, it's a lively thing. You know, how could you not?
Yeah.
Are you you're into marketing? Are you into sales and marketing?
I love sales.
No, you could sell something.
anything.
You know,
Yeah, I
you-
love to sell.
You see, you understand how we work, right?
Yeah.
You go and do your thing now.
Yeah.
I
At
will
the front line and
sign.
behind the scenes.
I will sign.
Yeah.
I will operate. Go ahead.
Let me convince the people on them. Let me
Yeah.
convince them.
Yeah.
Nah, but
It's like,
Again.
coach, put me in.
yeah. Oh, that, yeah, for sure. I grew up playing sports too, so I'm very a coach put me in kind of vibe. But now it works. It works. I think you are who you are by the people you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Your network is your net worth. So
And some people
Get the plug now.
some people draw that out of you more. So, you know, if he really is,
Background
behind
guy.
the scene, then you know, like, okay.
you know your strengths, and you should just capitalize on that and focus on that, and then outsource everything else.
Yeah.
So
I mean, well, it was so good having you guys.
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This was fun. We love to. I mean, I love to yap. You like to yap too, eh? But I love to yap.
You could touch anytime because, I mean, this was a good talk. Like a talk.
Dai Good
you know?
Talk.
Yeah.
That was
So
good.
when
talk.
you ever you'll feel like if, you know, when you have an event again and you want to come and you want to talk and you want to discuss, I mean, you
Yeah,
could come
for
back
sure.
at
No,
any
this
time.
was
Oh,
fun.
for sure. We will be back. For sure.
Like a talk.
Dai Good Talk.
Like a talk.
Like a
Thanks,
talk.
guys.
Thank you.
All right.